All right. Hey, everybody. TG here. And holy cow, did we have a heck of a market today or what? So there was a lot going on. We're going to be talking about that. And I just wanted to make sure that all of my channels and stuff are working. They look like they are. But yeah, we got a lot to go through today for the state of the market. Wow. Okay. So let's just kind of begin here. And so for people who don't know me, I'm TG Watkins. I'm under profitpilot.com. Come over here, check it out if you guys want to learn more about me. We're going to be posting links into the chat room so that you guys can figure out where to go for me. And one thing I do want to mention is, we're talking about like, okay, what's going to carry the stock market into the future? That's something a lot of people question because, here we are in 2021. What's going on? Where are we going? We got COVID. Maybe COVID's in the rearview mirror, but we're still dealing with it. Like, how can this keep happening? Lots of money be printed. What are the next sectors? All that kind of stuff. I know it's crazy out there, but to give a little bit of guidance of what's going on, come over here. It's my latest newsletter that I wrote, and it'd be part of the webinar where I gave my reasons for what I'm seeing in 2021, and I go on to list those. But for anything else, if you guys are actually, out there learning how to trade, you want to be part of this and part of the craziness, the insanity, excitement. I mean, we had a huge day today. I was up 15% in my account, and I have big accounts nowadays. So we were making some pretty good money today, and we've got a lot of great people, a lot of good traders in the Moxie room. If you guys are interested in that, come over here to subscription, and it's the Moxie Trader Mastery. And boy, it's just a party in there. Like it really is. I'm typing away all day long, and we got a bunch of people in there, and some really good traders in there, and everyone helps each other out. So we're having a great time. So come on over, check it out. And then as far as the market itself goes, yeah, and it's amazing. So Imram, I see you. Tom, Ladonna, yeah, good to see you guys. Thanks for also letting me know which of your screen names are, so I can get to know you a little bit better. I got a lot of people in the Moxie channel, the Moxie subscribers over here watching me on YouTube and Facebook. And today was so crazy that I almost thought like, I should probably make a video just for my subscriber to say, hey, what was going on? But then I remembered I have the state of the market. So here I am telling you guys what's going on, and we can talk about it. Now, the amazing thing is, and I'm sure the Moxie members, subscribers will confirm this, give me a thumbs up or something, but in my weekend webinar and even on Friday, didn't I say it sure looks to me like price on the S&P probably needs to come back down and test the hourly 50. And even for the weekly webinar that I give, oh, that is what I forgot. Give me 2 seconds. But I even said that price needs to come back down and test the hourly 50. And even going into today or yesterday, Friday, we had price kind of moving up across a downtrending 15-minute 50, which you can see right here. And that was a little bit awkward. I was like, something doesn't seem right. And we still had this gap between price and the hourly 50. And I was like, something's going to happen. And I said, even if the market does need to come back down and do a little dip, a little bit pullback like that, the rest of our names all looked pretty good. And so I said, look, we're just going to have to let it fly because there were a lot of names that did very well on Friday. And I'm looking around like, I don't think this is over. I think we're doing fine. So even a little touch back and go is fantastic. Now, it's always funny. I say these things of like, what I need to see and what I want to have happen, but I have no idea how it's going to happen. Like, how is it going to unfold? And today was like really one of those examples. I don't think anybody expected the kind of moves that we got today with the market going straight down like this. Now, we've seen liquidation breaks like this in the past. Today seemed particularly brutal. I was up really, really big in my account, and then that happened, and I actually went negative. And we sold some stuff before it happened because I was telling all my subscribers, I said, look, I can't handle all your trades right now. So if you guys have a stock that is vertical or it's extended or something like this, you need to just start taking some off because it's unlikely that this is going to work. And sure enough, that is what happened. people were starting to take some off, so that's good. They cashed in a little bit, and then the liquidation break happened, and that's actually once the dust kind of settled, we were looking around like, okay, I think I see some good names, and we started kind of putting some stuff back on, and then we were more than profitable by the end of the day, and we actually didn't move too much around. If anything, we just had some good buying opportunities, so that was fantastic. Um, Gosh, and you can see right here, price just sat right on top of the hourly 50. I mean, it was just perfect. And then today, we're back over the 15-minute 50. So far, call it kicking the can down the road, but I'm looking at this to keep going up. Everything's generally looking fine. Things are getting, they're looking fine, but they're getting a little shaky. Even the NASDAQ, I wrote this in my weekly review and everything. I said, look, we are up here, we're extended, we're up at the third ATRs, all that kind of stuff. We're up there. Now, we did get a touch, basically, of the hourly 50 right there, but I'm not sure that's going to really count, because if you look, all the bodies are still up here, which is leaving us kind of unsupported from the hourly 50. So watch out for the NASDAQ. There's still going to be something else coming, which will also affect the rest of the market. The IWM, and I wrote this either this morning, like today's kind of a blur because of everything that was going on. Either I wrote this morning or I was talking about in my webinar, but I said, the IWM needs to come back down and actually test something for some support as well. And we got that. So that happened, and that looks pretty good. It was just overextended this morning. I don't know what was going on, but there was some crazy action going on over the weekend, overnight, because most of our names were opening with really, really big moves up, just opening in midair. So it was great, but then I'm like, this isn't sustainable. So we took care of that. And then what I do want to show you guys is the UVXY. It is starting to perk up again. We need to be aware that the UVXY is bottoming, that it's moving up, even though the S&P is still moving up. Like, the UVXY should not be moving up and should not be bottoming when the market keeps moving up. We've seen something like this before. I think it was around September 1st. We've seen this before, to where the market kept moving up and so did the UVXY. And what that's telling us is something's going to happen. There's something lurking underneath the surface out there. And if you look at UVXY, which is the triple leverage of volatility, you can see that for quite some time we've had sustained increased volume coming into this, and UVXY won't go down. You've got to pay attention to this. I don't know when or what or how, what's going to happen, but something is lurking out there, and you need to make sure you run your stops. You need to make sure you take profits, something like that, because for as much as the market moved down and then the market moved back up, the UVXY did not roll over. It's still elevated today. So keep this in mind. If both the market and the UVXY go up, this is not a good situation. So be careful with that. Kind of where do we go from here? If we look at some of the big cap, this might be some of the issue, is that they are reporting earnings this week. It could be buy the rumor, sell the news. I don't know. But when Netflix had its earnings and Netflix shot up, I think that was a signal to a lot of the other big cap tech, like, oh, okay, we're good. If Netflix did great, then maybe we're going to do great in this COVID time and all that other stuff. And so they all moved up, but they got overextended. And this is something I've been talking to my people and my subscribers also. I said, look, like Amazon, look how far away this thing is from the hourly 50. It's extended. Come on, it's outside of the third ATR. Like, we got this giant gap between price and the 8 EMA. It's extended. Expect them to come back down or something. Maybe they'll flag a little bit, but expect them to pull back down. Today, look at this insane move that we had today. It looks like a little heart monitor thing, and then it's going sideways. Maybe these things are going to keep holding up until the earnings. I don't know. But something's lurking out there. And we look at Apple. Yeah, so Tom, a lot of shorts may have more liquidity to put into the UVXY after the moves today. That is possible. That is definitely possible. The liquidation break, that's exactly what it's called, that is, it runs people's stops, it shakes people out, it makes people get out and rethink things, and then it kind of just clears the slate. And I've been telling my subscribers this. I said something needs to happen, some sort of refresh, and I think we got that today. But I don't think that's the one. We definitely need a more major refresh. Like a 2-hour refresh isn't going to do it. We're going to need something that's going to pull the market down for probably a couple days. So, as I said, something's out there kind of lurking around that we need to be aware of. Apple, still very extended. It really is still very extended. Like, look at this thing. It has not touched the hourly 50 yet. It's up here at the third ATR. Something, I just kind of say something. Something's going on there. And if we look at SMH, which is the semiconductors, I've talked about, well, I won't even zoom in, but I've talked about this multiple times. Third ATR, third ATR, third ATR, third ATR, third ATR, and third ATR. It's up there. Maybe it can kind of cool off for a little bit and go sideways for a little bit. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll go sideways and then maybe it'll spike up and give us a blow off top. That's something we need to watch out too. So we could be building up for a blow off top. Some of the other things that will kind of go back around, the Reddit traders, Reddit, Robinhood, I think that there is some phenomenon going on in this new world of trading that we have, to where we have instant communication about how to trade, or certain stocks they're moving, or certain stocks that everyone's going after. Like in the old days, we had major institutions, and they, maybe they talked a little bit, but they weren't like on the phone totally, and they're moving the money and they're moving markets, and they're the ones driving the markets. It seems like something might have changed in the last few months, because we have the internet, we have everybody home, we have a ton of new traders, and we have a lot of new money coming into the market, and the market has actually really been on fire. And now we have things like the internet, we have Twitter, we have YouTube, we have a whole lot of stuff that is really connecting all of us as traders and saying, hey, this is hot right now. And everyone just goes like this and then jumps into it. And I think that's what we're starting to see. And today and over the last few weeks, actually just the last few days, we've been seeing also a lot of interest names. They are getting run over, and I'll show you a couple of those. GameStop has been one of the more famous ones right now because, and I forget the gentleman's name, he said, well, I'm going to forcefully buy out GameStop because he wants to, have majority share. And then another guy is like, well, GameStop shouldn't be this expensive. It should be down around $20. And everyone's like, oh yeah, you want to play that game? Okay. And they said, oh, you think you think this thing should go down? Well, we know that if you're short, if you're wrong, you got to get out, which means you got to do double by buying in order to get out. And this is what we've been seeing, is just one of the most massive short squeezes ever. And somebody's getting in trouble with this. Somebody's getting their head ripped off, and then it shot up, came back down. Maybe there's more. Can't really say. But then we see something like EXPR. And I actually mentioned this on our live session on Thursday for the Moxie subscribers. I didn't have room to take it, and honestly, I had no idea that this was going to happen. But I know several of my subscribers took it, and in the last 2 hours of the day, Friday, this thing shot up 30%, and then overnight, it shot up another 100%. Like insane. And the volume on this thing is crazy, and it sure looks to me like it's not ready to go down. So that's something. High short interest is getting squeezed. We're looking at FOSL. Now, part of this probably is because COVID. We got the vaccine. We're going to get back to normalcy. We're starting to plan ahead for that. So retailers, even though they may not totally flourish, they are going to come back, and so their numbers are coming back. So like the short play is over. Don't be sure for COVID-related stuff like, oh, they're not going to be successful. I think that stuff is over. And now what we're seeing is a resurgence, and people are, like Reddit traders, are starting to look at high short interest names, and so are we. And I gave this to my subscribers also on Thursday, which was right here. I said, Fossil looks really good. And you can see it's been holding the 15-minute 50 and just fantastic. So that was a good one. And I'll give, since we are already in, I'll tell you guys about this one. But Goose, we've been looking at this one for a little while too. I mentioned it on Thursday, and it's actually holding up. And so I think that there's a reason that we're looking at this one, and I think what we'll be saying is there is a bit of a high short interest, and okay, so there's a bit of a high short interest, and it's doing all the things I want to do as far as my kind of trading, my Moxie trading. This is a trampoline move. This is price underneath the hourly 50, bouncing off the 200 and the Moxie indicator above zero, and we're starting to bounce off the 15-minute 50, so we went in today. So if anybody out there is interested, come join the ride. This thing could start sparking off. So, I just showed you Express, Fossil, and I think Goose is next. So, I'm in it. We're in it, and maybe this is part of that communication, that instant communication. I don't know how many people are watching me right now. I don't know how many traders are going to act on this, but if we all do, then something's going to happen, and anybody who's short is going to have to get the heck out. How about SDC? Look at SDC. I've been talking about this one for quite some time too. Now, I got to say, I didn't expect this move either, but SDC had a high short interest, and we've been watching. I kept telling them, keep your eye on this. Now, unfortunately, it all happened in one day. So this thing shot up like this all in one day. Now, I did have a small position here. I jumped the gun. I was a little early, and it started to pull back. Well, I'm more than profitable today, so I just had to kind of wait that one out. So there are some crazy things going on out there, and I don't know how long they can last. Remember, I keep talking about the UVXY, so you need to be ready for that. And, if we talk about some other stuff, maybe we'll talk about gold, because I think that precious metals look like they're starting to set up, especially if we look at the weekly and the monthly. These charts are looking pretty good. I don't see anything wrong with these. Look, price is kind of bouncing off of the monthly 10 SMA. We've basically got a double bottom off of the weekly 50 SMA. And everybody keeps talking about precious metals because of the amount of dollars that have been printed. We have, of all the dollars to have been printed, 23% was printed in 2020. So there's a big deal. Number one, there's a lot of money slushing around out there. Number two, the concern about inflation and the devaluation of the dollar and trying to hedge against that. Seems to me like precious metals is probably going to be coming in there. Artar, is that Rebecca? So good to see you. And yeah, so it looks to me like we're trying to get a bounce off the daily 200. We've been building this level. The Moxie indicator's trying to turn up. We're seeing some positive divergence, and it sure looks to me like that's looking pretty conducive right there on the 15-minute chart. So really kind of as long as price can stay over the hourly 50 and start moving up, I think this thing looks pretty good. Now, I personally like silver because it's a much cleaner pattern so far, and it's a little bit more energetic, and we've been trading this one, and might be something good to add to your portfolio given the craziness of all these other names. But yeah, we're in it from this first low, and now we kind of got a double bottom, and now I'm kind of just waiting to see if this thing holds and if we start moving up. So silver is looking pretty good out there as well if you guys want to do some precious metals. Now, I'm sure a state of the market wouldn't be complete without Bitcoin, right? Now, yeah, nice guys. I see you chatting there. It's always fun to have you there. So, let's see. Come on, Bitcoin. Is this thing going? All right. Give me a moment to see what my computer is doing. All right. Just kind of take the wind out of my sails, why don't we? So anyway, what I was going to be saying, we'll see if this kind of pops up, but we've seen that Bitcoin totally went on a very, very explosive tear. I mean, again, just kind of with the whole vertical type thing. At some point, that's going to run out of steam, which we've seen. And as far as the Moxie group and my kind of trading, we nailed this one with our ancillary type trades, our Riot, our Mara, those kind of things. We got out very, very well at just the right time on those. Now, those of you who are Moxie subscribers or taking my class and understand my teachings, I think that if you're savvy, you'll see what's going on right here. The fact that we've got price moving up over the moving average and then getting rejected and then coming back down. So I am just about looking at a I want to see a bounce. I want to see Bitcoin find some support through here. You know, I've been waiting for this little bit of a pullback that we're just like right here. I'm waiting for this. And if that holds, and if it starts to hold into the future, then I think that the ancillary Bitcoin type trades will start to look alive. For example, Mara. There we go. Come on, internet. So what you can see here is it's trying. You guys kind of, you know the patterns I'm looking at. You Moxie people out there know what I'm talking about. You know, we got leg, heel, arch, ball of the foot, and then maybe we get that kind of move up there. Hasn't confirmed yet, but it's kind of what I'm looking at. You can see we've got our level and we've got our positive divergence. So price is also sitting right there on the hourly 21, all that kind of stuff. So if Bitcoin starts to move, these things should start to move because they're all basically related. Riot is almost the same and related to that as well. And you can see it's got its pattern and its formation pretty much the same way that Mara does. And again, for you Moxie people out there, you know what I'm talking about here. Leg, heel, arch, ball, and then, you know, we got the toe up there. So I'm seeing that double bottom, seeing that positive divergence. Yeah. So this is kind of the stuff that I'm looking at. You know, we've been patient, we've been waiting for it, but I think that Bitcoin related is starting to warm up. Crazy Carl, I'm not sure that what you're saying makes sense. So if you want to ask me a question, go for it. And then EVs, you know, we've been talking about EVs and solar and all this other stuff. Like, there's still some really good names out there. In fact, VVPR, you know, this is a solar slash EV play. And what I'm understanding is that news about them partnering with Toyota came out today. And we've been in this thing. In fact, I even told my subscribers on Friday or over the weekend, I said, that looks very constructive. That looks very energetic. Like, it looks so energetic, it doesn't even want to go back down. And then sure enough, this morning we got a nice big gap up like that. So I think finally we've been in this name just letting it, you know, incubate and just incubate and telling people, like, let's be in this thing. And that's really starting to work out pretty well. Yep, Debbie, you got it. You guys know. So it's always fun. That's good. Other than that, I think that we're kind of looking at, we've got big tech earnings coming up. The indexes look pretty good, but in a way they are getting extended. Now, they're not in blow off top territory, although I think that we might be getting there. And we need to be aware that the UVXY is starting to kind of build strength and is starting to show, hey, something's lurking under there. So let's take this for all that it's worth. Let's do everything we can and make as much money as we can, because I'm doing really well this year already, and I think that 2021 is going to be very strong like that. So let's keep doing this, but we always need to make sure, like, we kind of got either one foot out the door, or we're ready to just jump out that exit when we need to, because there is probably going to be some sort of bigger, longer pullback that's coming. I don't think it's a bear market. I don't think it's a correction. I just think we need something that's a little bit long lasting, in order to help us kind of refresh. You know, like, this stuff is just, like, how much more juice is there to really be squeezing? As it, I'm not bearish. I'm not shorting anything. I'm riding this for all that it's worth. But we need to have no surprises when something changes. That's all I'm trying to tell you and communicate to you. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to be letting you go there. Hopefully that gave you a good overview of what's going on with the market, a little bit of an understanding about today. There were just some crazy moves, and really it was just a giant liquidation break. And hopefully your account saw that after that moved down, it actually came back up. And so far, I think that bought us some time. So we'll see where we're going, but you do need to be careful out there. Anybody new to the market, then this was a pretty good wake-up experience to you, and telling you what is possible out there in the market. So just either don't be surprised, or protect yourself somehow, and just understand that this is the way of the market, And these are the kind of forceful moves that can happen out there. It's a big, big ocean with a lot of big players, and here we are just kind of trying to float around in it and do the best we can as kind of some of the minnows that we are. But there's a lot of opportunity out there. So stick with it, protect yourself. See if I can help you out by joining the Moxie group or crowd or anything like that, and just do what you can out there. But one more time, profitpilot.com. That's where you guys can find out information about me, and then that webinar that I talked about tells a lot of stuff. So come check that out as well. But thanks again, guys. Always love seeing you in the comments. It's great. And for those of you who are in the Moxie room, I will see you back over there tomorrow. And I got some homework to do. So we'll be chatting pretty soon. And